Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm excited to be here with you today to share today's live. So thank you for joining me, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube live or the recording. Thanks for joining me. So I'm excited to share some ideas and tips to help you with your crafting, stamping, to help you learn some tips and things. And today we're going to focus on ink, in particular ink spots. So hopefully the sound is okay and everyone can hear me. Just give me a quick heads up or a comment that is all well with sound and everything. I know we had a few challenges last week. It looks like all is okay today. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to switch over to my table and we'll have a look and I'll show you what we're going to do today. All right, here we go. So not seeing any comments yet, so hopefully all is going well and you can hear me okay. All right, excellent. Sound is good. Great to hear. Okay, so what I'm going to show you in particular is ink spots. And I'm going to show you the comparison between some of the ink pads and ink spots and how you can best use them and why they are good to use. We're going to make a card. We're going to use the textured notes, which is one of my favorite stamp sets at the moment. So hopefully with both the ink spots and the card ideas, it will give you some new ideas and inspiration. All right, so thank you to those that are joining me today. So you may have seen these colors before. I have used them quite a bit. These are 4 of the 5 in colors: Timid Tiger, Strawberry Slush, Darling Duckling, and Secret Sea. So they come in a normal sized ink pad. So flip open the lid like this, slide it, and you've got your nice big ink pad. Now that Stampin' Up did create one for cloud cover, which is the 5th color in the in colors. Oops, camera bumped there. Whoops, a daisy. Let me just adjust things again. Are we good? Think so. But unfortunately, the color has changed or shifted, as sometimes the words are used, over time. So Stampin' Up in particular, one of their big features about their products is color coordination. If you have a ink pad in a particular color like Strawberry Slush, then if you have cardstock, it's going to be in the same kind of tonings. If you've got ribbon, markers, embellishments, they all coordinate and things. But with the cloud cover color, it has kind of changed over time. So that when they make things, they test them, all good, but then it happened over time. And when we're on stage, they noticed that the color was not always staying the same. So they investigated it, looked into more, but unfortunately, they're not going to bring it out in an ink pad. So what it actually relates to is more of a chemical kind of thing. So these inks here are on a foam ink pad, and somehow the things that are in this particular color have reacted, and so it changes over time. But it's okay. There is an alternative, and that's what I'm going to show you today with the ink spots. And there's other ways you can use ink spots as well, not just for cloud cover. All right, so these are our big normal size ink pads. Move those out the way. And the alternative is ink spots. So you can buy ink spots like this in a pack of 5, and they are just, here's one that's already opened, a plain ink, like no ink on it at all. It's just white. Now these are actually a different fabric to these ones. So these, like I said, are foam. These are kind of the old style ones where there are felt. So I wouldn't want to put my hand in there because it's very inky, but these are actually felt. So when you put the ink onto here, it's fine. So this is how we are going to be able to use cloud cover ink. We're just going to do it in an ink spot. So I'm going to show you how to ink up your little ink spot. So I've already got a couple here. So this one here I have done with cloud cover. And a tip from one of my Crafting Across the Borders team members, Jo, she put a little, punched out a little circle. I just use this little punch here. Don't think it's current anymore, but just a little punched out shape, or you can put a little square on it of this right color on the top and the bottom, so you get the right lids back on later in case there's a bit of ink on it. And you can ink up whatever colors you like. So to do that, you obviously need some of the ink spots, and then you need the re-inker. And I always like to get the re-inker anyway, because when my ink pads do start running out, I can re-ink them. So I'm going to re-ink, or not re-ink, I'm going to ink this one up with Timid Tiger. So I'm going to get my ink and just squeeze it and put it onto the ink pad like this. Now you do want to go to the edges as well without trying to go over the edge, otherwise it'll drip down the side. And let that ink absorb into the pad. Now you'll see at the moment it's just on the surface, it hasn't kind of sunk in. So we need quite a bit. So I'm going to keep going. And if you can, it's actually better to do this and leave it and come back to it a little bit later. So you can then kind of try it and see how inky it is. So let me just, got a stamp here, I'm just going to make sure it's clean. So if you're not sure, you can always add some, have a try. And if it doesn't, it's going to use a scrap piece of paper just a little bit there. Yeah, see, that's quite inky already. But over time, it might kind of sink in more, or you can add some more if you feel like it. And of course, you can, what's the word? Touch them up. Add more to it, okay? Now, I'm going to get my little scrap of Timid Tiger cardstock and punch out a couple of circles. And get my glue dots, which are here. Actually, I'm going to put that lid on so I don't knock it or anything. And I'm going to pick up, actually, have I got the Take Your Pick tool with the putty on the end is not here. So we're just going to put a glue dot on there. And I've put that on the outside. We'll close the lid. And then we'll put one underneath as well. So you may like to store the ink upside down so it's always fresher at the top. Just keep an eye on them that they don't drip or anything. So with our Stampin' Up ink pads, because we flip the lid, the ink is actually stored with it facing down anyway, the way they're designed. If you look at the ink pad when it's like that, the ink pad is facing down, so the ink is always kind of ready to use. Never store them on their side, because eventually the ink will run down and drip everywhere. So keep them flat. Okay, so shortly I'm going to make a card. I'll show you the card, and I want you guys to help me decide, would you like it in Strawberry Slush or would you like Timid Tiger? So I'm just going to have a look at the comments as we make those decisions. So we've got a few people here today. Sheila, Joanne, Linda, Elizabeth, wonderful. Okay, so great to have you here today. So remember, you can buy these as a 5-pack, and then you can make, you know, multiple colors. So before we make our card, let me just show you a few tips. So obviously I have got the big ink pad anyway in this color, but sometimes a small ink pad is actually quite useful, as well as having a big ink pad. Or if you don't have the big ink pad, you can just have this. Now, cost-wise, obviously ink spots are a little bit cheaper. An ink pad is $19. The set of 5 ink spots are $21. And then obviously you need to get the ink refills, but you can keep inking it and keep using it for a bit longer. Off the top of my head, I think these are $11.75. So if you're in the In Color Club, I haven't sent this information out yet, but obviously you won't get an ink pad in the cloud cover. So you'll get something like this, and you'll have the choice of choosing the whole pack, and then you can ink up this one and other ones if you wish, or a slight change in the price and just one ink pad. But I'll send information about that out soon. Now, you'll see these little ink spots here, and you'll think, well, obviously I haven't inked those up. So you can buy some ink spots on their own as well. So if you have a look in this catalogue, the annual catalogue on page 32 and 33, you'll see that they sell 2 sets of ink spots. So this is $40 and you get 5 colours. which is, you know, a good budget-friendly way of getting some different ink pads. And then they've got some different ways of using them as well. So you've got these colors, and this one actually includes a cloud cover as part of it. It's got real red, petal pink, garden green, cloud cover, and early espresso, so a range of colors. And this one here is melon mumbo, darling duckling, granny apple green, fresh freesia, and basic gray. So it's a set of 4 that you can choose, and they're inked ready to go. And if you need to top them up, you can just get an ink refill and top them up yourself. So I'm going to show you 3 ideas that are in the catalogue on how you can use ink spots. So let me move those out the way. So we've got here, you can make some quick, easy cards. So here we've just inked the background as squares, literally, obviously with the lid off. You do need to make sure, obviously, they're quite well inked, and I'd probably hold them down for a few seconds to see how well, you know, let the ink step in. This one here has been stroked across to give that sort of look, and they've put some stars on it too. Now this one is quite good. I'm just going to move those out the way. Because they're small, if you've got a big ink pad, it's kind of hard to ink part of a stamp. But if you wanted to, you can ink, you know, quite specifically half in one color and then half in another. It may look a little bit strange in those 2 colors, but here you've got 2-toned greens, okay? So you can add specific areas with the ink pads and things. So check out page 32 and 33 for different ways of using an ink spot. So they're great value, and of course they're small, easy to store as well. So lots of great ways of using the classic stamping spots. Now you'll say, but these 2 ones here that I've got are not part of those color groups. So you also get stamping spots inside some of the kits. So if you buy a kit that has got stamps, they don't provide you with a big ink pad. That would be too costly. You get a little ink spot, same thing. So these are from kits that I've had, and it's a little ink. So you'll see here the ink has gone all the way through, so that's obviously a little bit inkier. So this one is blueberry bushel. Make sure you put the lids on nice and tight so that they don't dry up. This one, the label, you can have the label do that if you wish, but sometimes the lid gets in the way if you're trying to ink up. All right, so with an ink pad, usually you would ink like this. Now with a small, you can't really do that. It's too hard. So the best way is have your stamp up and then ink over like this. Now, Timid Tiger, oh, I'm looking to see what colours we've got. So we've got one for Timid Tiger, one for Strawberry Slush. Anyone else want to add which colour they think? We're looking at those 2. We need a decider here. I'll show you what we're going to make. I'm actually going to make 2 cards side by side, and then I'll show you one's a little bit simpler, one's a bit more stepped up. All right, so anyone else want to add a colour? So we are using, as I showed you before, the texture notes, which is one that I've used quite a bit recently. We're mainly going to focus on, well, these 3 stamps actually. Okay. No one else is commenting. I need someone else to decide. Strawberry Slush or Timid Tiger. Okay. So this is the slightly simpler version. So I've stamped my image here, a sentiment. I have put it on a die cut shape, which is from the Textured Notes dies, which are looking a bit messy, but they're these ones here. Love these. They coordinate with this, not to cut out those images, but just because they're textured. So that's cool. One of each. Well, I guess I could, yeah, I was going to try and do 2 at the same time, but we could do one of each. Okay. True. Although we've got strawberry coming out more. Okay. Yeah, so these are the Texture Notes dies. If you don't have these, you just get a rectangle shape and away you go. And then the stepped up version is an extra layer. So I've put white behind and I've put it on the same colored card base. And then I've added a little bit extra stamping here and a bit more of embellishments. Whoops, these ones have just got the in color flat pearls. This one's got some twine as well. I'll go with, oh no, oh, we've got Oh, what do we got now? Tiger, tiger. I think tiger. Oh, it's about even again. Oh dear. Not sure what to do. Okay, here we go. Maybe I'll have to do one of each. So I've pre-cut this. Let's start with Timid Tiger. Now, like I say, this was only recently inked, so hopefully it's had time to... We'll go with Timid Tiger first. So I'm going to do that. Do this in the middle like so. I'm going to give it a second for the ink to sink in. Oh, it's not quite as solid in the middle there. Do I have a spare thingy? I'm not sure. My chances of lining it up again, I can't line it up because I can't see it. All right, we'll just go with that. So ideally, I'd want to leave it a little bit longer for the ink to soak in, but that's okay. Let's try a strawberry slush one. I'll clean that. So we'll move that to the side. Now with the strawberry slush, I'm going for, we'll put one on each side, the slightly more fancier look. So I'm going to do this, I don't know what you call it, round basket thing there, but I just want it in the background, so I'm going to stamp off. So where's my scrap piece of paper? So remember with these, I'm gonna have to remember to clean in between, is stamp faces up like this, ink over the top. Where is my scrap piece? We'll just use this to stamp off on like that, and then I'm gonna stamp that about there. So it's just a lighter color, and I'm gonna double check I cleaned this. I'm pretty sure I did, but we'll do it again. Now I'm going to ink up this one. Right, make sure I put ink in the center of it. It might have been actually me not putting enough ink in the center, who knows. And we're going to do like so. That's good. Great. Okay, then move those out the way so I don't get my sleeve in it. Then we're going to create our background. So I have got one of each. So I've cut both depending on what you wanted. Now, some are smaller and some are bigger, right? Can you see? Okay, so this is smaller. So we want the smaller one on that side because we're going to put white behind it later, like so. Does that fit? Yes. And then we want the bigger one on this side because it's going to do the whole card base. All right, now we do have to do a little bit of inking up every time, but that's okay. So basically, we're just stamping this around the edge and we're turning it different ways. So it's not quite as quick as stamp, you know, and then on, but that's all right. We're just going to ink it up and stamp it around the top. You probably can't see what I'm doing. I'll try and ink it up here. How's that? The next one I'm going to do upside down, so that way. So we're just creating a border. You could emboss the background, dry emboss with an embossing folder if you wished, but I quite like using the stamp set. Just got some leaves around the edge. Just have something underneath because obviously we go over the edge a little bit. All right, so this is in Strawberry Slush. And then one more at the top. So come off camera there, like so. All right, does that look pretty good? If you feel there are a few little holes, you could just, that kind of thing. All right, there we go. We're going to clean that. Clean it well. And we will do, right. Yes, another good thing about the ink spots too is they're obviously not as big and heavy, easier to open and that kind of thing. So Linda was mentioning it might be a little bit easier with her shoulder. So yes, that's cool. All right, lots of you joining today. That's awesome. Okay. Well, actually, it's more afternoon, isn't it? We're going to do the same thing on this one. Around the edge. So these are monochromatic cards, okay? So I'm sort of sticking to one color. So if you're part of my In Color Club, each month with the In Color, when you get your ink pad and ink refill and ribbon and cardstock and two-tone cardstock and embellishments and all those kind of things, marker as well, you get a card that I've made in the color that you're getting for that month. So it's a great way of just spreading out the costs, not having to get it all at once. And it's quite exciting getting a different package every month for your in color. I'm just going to do up there as well. So this isn't one of those cards for the packs, but I mean, oops, oh dear, dropping it here. But it could be something like this card, could be. There we go. All right. So that's better this time. I think the orange has had a bit more time to soak in. I could, if I had it nearby, just touch it up with my marker. But I don't think they are here. So that's what I might do afterwards, is just sort of do the outline of the things and touch it up slightly, and we should be good. Have I frozen? No, I haven't frozen. Whew, panic for a minute there. All right. Excellent. Okay, so putting it together, so that is the simple one. We need our sentiment. So I'm just using a sentiment from the Simply Said. Gives you a variety of happy birthday, thanks, hello, just a note, that kind of thing. I might do this a little bit different. We might do, because it might fit, we might do just a note in the corner of this one. So same thing. Now you'll see the ink a lot better on this one because it's photopolymer. Can you see that? So let's do this. Now you'll notice that I'm stamping on a paper piercing mat, which I've covered with grid paper too, because then it won't leave marks and things, particularly with the photopolymer stamps, because there's no sponginess on this. It helps give a nice crisp good image. On my other one, I'm going to go and do like I did before, the thanks. You can see this one has used pinks and reds before because it's stained, but it doesn't affect the stamping, it just stains it. Beautiful. Now this particular stamp is more of a slightly distressed look, so it's not completely solid. All right, put your lids on, but can you see now I've got, you know, the right lids on the right one, so that's a cool tip that Joe Rogers shared, so that is cool. All right, now we're going to put our cards together, and then we'll put our embellishments and things on afterwards. So let's put those there. So for this card, I'm hoping I haven't got too much ink on my fingers. We need a white card base. So for this, I'm using thick, and I can't see a bone folder handy, so I'll crease it better later. So this one is just glue this flat, glue, tape, whatever you prefer. I like glue because it's quicker and easier. I'm just going to move these other bits out the way, move my ink pads. All right, so glue that down. Just a thin layer near the edge. Whoops, that was a bit too close to the edge. You don't need too much, and then it gets too wet. It'll lose out the side. If you have trouble squeezing it, you could just do little dots. Let me show you on this one. So that should hopefully fit on there. It's just giving a slight white border. So you could always do dots if you're more of a dotty person. You just don't want too much, basically. And, you know, don't use too much. It'll last a lot longer. All right, so that's a white border, and then we're putting that one onto a strawberry slush card base. So it is kind of definitely tone on tone. We could have, I'm going to go back to my favorite way. We could have used two-tone, and we could have used the light side. Do I have some handy? I'll show you the contrast. What it would be is that, no, that's cardstock. So this is two-tone, which I did last week. So that's the lighter color. So I could have done the lighter color, and then you would have had same kind of toning, but just a bit of more of a contrast. But I've just used normal cardstock for this. All right, then we are going to put these on with dimensionals. And they are definitely here, but as I craft, I move things around to show you. Oh, there they are, right here in plain sight. Okay, so let's put these on. So I like to do the four corners and the middle so it doesn't kind of sag in the middle. Usually I put, I might just do 2. Usually I put, what do you call it, a highlighter on it. Then you can tell if you've taken the back off or not. You might, or you could even do here and here. Maybe one in the middle. There we go. Then I like to use my Take Your Pick tool. Oh, Sheila said her two-tone, her BBB, if you don't know what a BBB is, it's a big brown box, which is what brown boxes is what Stampin' Up orders come in, has arrived. Oops, that one didn't come off, with her two-tone cardstock, so that's awesome, because there was a special last week, which was very cool. Now what I do is I just put it down lightly. Don't push it down. Make sure it's straight. I can sort of adjust it if I need to. And then when I feel that, see, it's wonky at the top, so let's just adjust it. It's slightly higher at the top than the bottom, so I haven't stuck it down firmly. I can still adjust it, just literally sitting it on the top. And then when I'm happy with it, now I'm being too fussy today. When I'm happy with it, that will do. I can press it down. All right, let's do our orange one. So this is a little bit different, doing 2 cards side by side. You do obviously need to be careful that you don't mix your colors in your ink pad, but different way of doing it. And then you get to see the comparison. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to use my in color embellishments, the flat pearls, which I've got here. So we'll obviously go with Timid Tiger on this one. We'll do a big and a little on up the top. I like sort of a triangular pattern. And then, oops, where'd it go? Didn't come. One down there. So I'm just using this pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool. I sort of hold it and lift it up. Actually, let's do it with this one. So there is adhesive at the bottom, and obviously you want to pick up the adhesive as well. There's not so much room up the top there. So just get underneath so you pick up the adhesive and then place it where you'd like to. Now I'm going to add some twine, so we'll leave some room for that. So they're the 2 different ones. So if you, oops, what happened? Oh, my mouse. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Look, my mouse, as I put those down, I knocked and clicked on something else with my mouse. That was a very interesting effect, wasn't it? Okay, twine. Now, if I've used twine before, not always, if I want to double twine, this is how I do it. So I'm actually going to get a glue dot down first to help hold it. So I'm going to glue dot, just stick it down there. No, where's it gone? Yeah, it's there actually. I'm going to get a ribbon scissors. No, not here. Sort of that size piece. Where is it? Stick that down in the middle. That's going to hold it. That's a bit to tie around. Try and sort of put this to keep it in the middle. Then I'm going to wind this. So excuse my inky fingers. So one end is at the bottom of my 3 fingers, and I'm going to wind around once and then twice, and then I'm going to go up to the top and cut. So basically, if I take it off my fingers and I squeeze it together, you should have 2 loops either end and then a little tail either side. We're going to put that down. You could hold it, but if you don't want to hold it, put it down. The glue dot will hold it, and then tie it. And then you can just adjust your tails as you like. Where are we? So I am going to use another glue dot just to put it on the card, just to hold it in place. Where is one? Here. Okay, and I'm going to put it sort of down here a wee bit. There we go. So if I wanted to, if I've got a spare white piece, I can put that inside, and then I could do one of those 2 stamps on the inside. Which one did I ink last? I can't remember if it was orange or soon see pink. I still will give it a clean, I think. Anyway, so there we go. We'll use our ink spot again, ink it up, and just put something on the inside. You can also, let's put ink there, we'll turn it over. We will also, if you wanted to, add it on the envelope. Now I went down, up, slightly lighter. So if I'd held it for a bit longer, maybe some more of the ink would have soaked in and it would have been darker. Let's try that orange one on the inside and let's see if we can get a better stamped image. Pressure's on now. So if I got another white piece, so I will need to clean it. So in between, I'm just cleaning with my chamois. Okay, it's not actually a flat layer. So this will stain and get dirty. So for a quick clean, I can do that. If I want to clean really well, I've got my stamping scrub. So it comes like this. Whoops, and I can open it. So I've put a little bit of blue on that side and a little bit of yellow cardstock on that side. So I would spray, I've already sprayed it and it's in the other room now, spray and clean it on that side and then dry it on that side and then it's ready to use. And then every now and again, this will be full of ink, so you have to take it out, rinse it under the tap and clean your stamp, or clean that, and then it'll keep, you know, your stamp's nice and clean. All right, so let's see if it's still quite white, so I could possibly add more ink to it. But for now, let's just see how we go and put some in the middle. That's where I think my problem was. I'm going to give it a moment when I stamp to let the ink. So press and hold. Yeah, that's better. See, now I don't have a missing bit in the middle. All right, let's clean that before we forget. All right, so adhere. Silly me, we didn't need to do white on white because, well, I still might put it in because then it sort of frames it and cuts off the edges. We'll still stick it in because it is a white card base. But anyway, I do find, like, particularly if I've got quite a few things on the front, it makes it heavier. I like to sort of layer up the back as well, then it kind of balances the card. So let's have a look and see what we've made today. And these stack too, did you know? See, look, you can stack them on top of each other. The same as our ink pads stack. So they've got the little holes in them and there's little things there, so they clip into each other as well. And then if you put the stickers on them, which I haven't yet, then you can see what they are. All right, so these stack too, which are quite good. I guess if you were stacking, you could put a little piece of colour on there, then you'd know what they were at a glance too. All right, so let me put the lid on my glue and check out what we've made today. All right, so we have, do you know the colours? We've got cloud cover, so this is our slightly Caputombo. Yeah, I didn't actually see your comment, Sheila, but I did cap it. Thank you. I still like, so Joanne likes the inside layer on a white base because yes, it adds weight to the back. So that's exactly what I was saying. It makes it heavier, and also then my image kind of starts and stops. It doesn't sort of, you know, go off the page. So there's a few advantages of doing it. All right, so we have cloud cover using our, well, they're all using our ink spots. So this is the slightly stepped up version with an extra layer and some twine. Same design in strawberry slush, and they've also got the extra stamping with that stamp behind. Then we've got timid tiger and cloud cover in our more simple design, just with a white cardstock base and just one image and some embellishments. So, and you know, if you really wanted to, you could step it up even more, but this is just yeah, it's just some ways of doing it. Yeah, others too, like Joanne's idea of having white inside white. It does kind of balance it out weight-wise too. Cool. All right, so let me know, have you seen ink spots before? Have you used them? I think they're great. Remember, they come in a pack of 5 like this, $21 for the 5. Obviously, you need to get the ink refills for them to use them, but there are different techniques and things that you can use with ink refills as well. So it's not just for the ink spots. You can get ink refills and use them in different ways. If you've got kits, then you might have some ink spots or stamping spots from different ink ones from, not ink, from kits as well, card kits and things. You might have an ink spot for that too. So they're very cool. And if you've got a way of color coding them, then that's cool too. So any questions? Yeah, so lots of people are liking the stamping on the inside. All right, so that's kind of us. So that's me for today. They look amazing. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I do quite like the monochromatic cards. Like I say, I do them for my In Colour Club. And I think they just look quite effective. I mean, contrasting colours are great too, but it looks quite cool with, you know, one particular focal colour as well. All right, so let's come back to me. Very good. All right, well, thank you for joining me today. Whether you're watching the live or the recording, I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you've been inspired, learnt some new tips and things, which is always helpful and useful. If you're not on my mailing list, please sign up, and then you'll get more information and tips and exclusive tutorials. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you subscribe, you'll be notified of other videos and things too. And if you know of someone else who might find this useful, feel free to share the video with them as well. All right, so thank you for joining me today. In the description, I'll share the supplies I used and other links and things. Otherwise, there was one thing I was going to mention, but I forgot to bring it into this room. So today, this morning, I've been doing the virtual album retreat, which is like a scrapbooking 3-day virtual event. So I got sent in a box, which I did a little reel on, all the different things in there, and I've made one of the double pages. It is going all day. It started at 8, goes till 4:30, but I did one double page, then I've been working on my live. I'll go back to it again later. I've got to work tomorrow, so that's fine. It's recorded. I can watch the recordings, do it my own time, and then it's Saturday too, so at least I'm around Saturday to make those. So if you didn't sign up, but you're wondering about scrapbooking, you can still sign up. You'll get set in the kits, and then you can just watch the recording when it suits. The cool thing is, even the lives, you can actually pause it. If you're not quite finished with something, you can pause it, even go back, watch it again to catch up. So it is quite fun. So it is 12 double pages, which is a lot. It's like a whole calendar year, month by month, but you can mix up the which month you put on, you know, which kind of double page spread, because you know, winter in America will be summer here. So if it's kind of slightly seasonal, it may not work. It is a slightly more expensive item. You buy the kit, $525 New Zealand, but you get access to this virtual retreat as part of that, which is very cool. So if you're into scrapbooking or wanting to start, you don't know where to start, obviously there's kits and things which are a slightly lower priced item. But if you want to go all out and give this a go, then reach out to me and I can let you know about that too. But it's been lots of fun, and I look forward to doing some more later. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. We had Renee join today. Thank you. I'm not sure if you've been on before, but I appreciate your comments. Thank you to my regulars, Linda, Sheila, Joanne, Elizabeth, and anyone else I've missed. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Just, reach out to me if I can help in any way, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.